Hi everyone! I'm so excited. I finished my album and look at this beast. It's 8.5 by 8.5, but then some of the pages are 8 by 8 because I ran out of 8.5 by 8.5, and I have so many 8 by 8 that I just switched to that. This is just at the car before we left, and I had some South Dakota paper, and the back was black, and so I just kind of cut around. We went to my brother's and he drove us to the airport. I used some Snapchat filters that I thought were funny, and just wrote about our fun trip. There's another Snapchat filter, and I tried to make it look like the airplane was going from California to South Dakota, even though we landed like over here. Let me put this box under it. Oh, my aunt's church, I wrote on the picture, and I saved, kind of like a smash book, saved the brochure. And then this was my Uncle Toby's bar, and I always cannot wait to go and have fried cheese balls. And then my cousin picked me up, and we stopped at my favorite place. When I was a kid, we had to be quiet until we saw the teepee. And whoever saw the teepee got to go, yay, kind of silly, but still one of my favorite places to go. So that night we took her dog to the dog park, and I used some of my 4x6 flips I had left over from Walmart. I don't have very many left, and I just glued it to the back of the page protector and made a flip. This was from the Hard Rock Casino. This was a page out of the Snap books, and I thought it worked good for that. That was fun. They had all sorts of little things, and I got carded, and I'm older than my cousin by a month, but she didn't get carded. So, I always wanted to go up here. This is the Floyd Monument. I used my Cricut. This was for the one in Washington, and I just cut that out and made it my own to match the Floyd Monument. So this was a little road trip. We went from her house in Nebraska back to South Dakota. We picked up her son, and we took the dog with us. And they have a bridge there, and you drive through South Dakota, and you park in Nebraska. You walk over back to South Dakota, and then you could take the under part and walk to Nebraska. So this is from the Snap. And they didn't have a line saying we were in 2 states, so we just made one up. And I made this on the Cricut. And then I made this on Word, and it didn't come out quite like I wanted to, but I wanted it to say it was 2 cousins, 2 states at the same time, memories forever. And then I just used some of the snapshots from Paper House. I love those. This is a cute little park, and it's not called Princess Park, but we called it that. And it's right across the street from the hospital, so it's like really nice if you need to go over there. This was my favorite, almost my favorite thing we did this whole entire trip. We found this little museum, and of course I used my 4x6 flips. And I went to a museum in Nevada that had old little things set up, and you could look at them, and this reminded me of that. You go in the old church, they had a double porta potty. I mean, it was just fun. And then of course the Sinclair dinosaur. It's kind of my tradition when I go back there to stop. And then we stopped on the side of the road in Iowa. They had a little Lewis and Clark thing that I had never heard of before and driven by it a million times. These are from brochures I had a couple years ago that I saved. And this I didn't know about until we went to Walgreens. I'd forgotten to buy a toothbrush, and they had a postcard of it, and that's how I found out about that. I was like, how many times have I driven by here? Who knows? So my mom's pet peeve is people going to Walmart in their pajamas. So I wore my pajamas to Walgreens, and I cut this page and made kind of a funny. And we stayed up all night eating Oreos and Doritos. We had fun. Anyways, we stopped on the side of the road and took pictures with everything. I made another flip with the O snap. So then we went to the art museum, and this one's going to be kind of hard to show. I had bought these, I think at Joann's a few years ago. They were folders. So I did that, and there's a whole bunch of extras in there. And then this slips down, and there's kind of an inside joke about me and pickles on this trip. And then horses, so we took pictures with horses. This was something that was out front, and we just loved it. And then they had free little postcards inside. So, and then my new little favorite to take pictures of are the little libraries. And the brochures. And then this also came with that thing from Joann's. And I just taped it to the cover. And then, of course, we went back to South Dakota to take her son home. And everything is really close by, like 40 minutes. And then we went to another Sinclair in Beersford. So, and her doggy, I had to say bye to her. I love her. She smiled for a selfie. And I did these on the Cricut print and cut. And I met my cousin. I had never met her before. We met up and went shopping with my sister. And these are old. I can't even tell you where I got these. And somebody had a mater on the side of the road. And so I used my Cricut. And I took one of the page protectors. And I glued it to the top. And then I put the page on top. So this page isn't protected as much. But we had fun with that, posing with that. And this is one of my favorite places. And this is the Falls of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And my whole life, everybody told me that this was a jail. And no, it's just where they used the falls to grind corn. And I had no idea. Everybody told me it was a jail. I was kind of mad. We went to Walmart and took funny pictures, and I had a Cricut cut of the snowflake, and so I used that. And then my cousin Virginia's cross-stitch shop. And then I used one of my Smashbook bags with my Maurice's. I also used, I don't know if you could tell, I used the tissue paper that was inside my Maurice's bag. And I saved this little note that the girl wrote us. I didn't know she had done that. I thought that was really sweet. And that's the shirt I bought. And this is just kind of like a filler page because I didn't have anything else. And I printed out the Snapchat pictures. I thought that was kind of cute. And the whole reason for going back was a big family reunion. And so I used some stickers and some Cricut cuts. And some more, and a tag. And we have lots of family back there, but we also have a lot of family at cemeteries, and we always try to go. So I took pictures. And then some more of the reunion day 2. Stopped back by at my cousin's shop, and then my parents got to see her. And then day 2, part 3 of our reunion. It was really dark in there. And I'm kind of sad I didn't take the best of pictures. Got to see my grandma. And I kind of started doing simple layouts and mixing up paper. And it was really fun. And the last cemetery I went to, I want that church. Like, I want to live in it. I think it's beautiful. And then this is the cutest little place. It's called Yesterday's Cafe. I used my Cricut, and I cannot even do the Cricut anymore without using print and cut. It's so much easier. So I used the O Snap folders. And these people, I took their picture. She's like, well, I want to take your guys' picture. And she had us do all these funny poses. They were a fun couple. And you can't really tell, but I'm posing behind that car driving. It was a lot of fun. I'd wanted to eat there for years. Nobody ever wanted to go. Put my foot down, and we got to eat there this time. So we went back to Iowa and picked up my cousin, and of course we had to go shopping. And this, I bought, I don't know if I can find it. I bought this little thing at Big Lots like a million years ago, and it was only $1. And so I took out the plastics and made it like flips. And I bought that paper on the trip, so it's kind of a special page. And this is a gorgeous place. It's kind of Catholic, and I'm not Catholic, but it doesn't matter. It's beautiful. They have the Lord's Supper out of wood, and they have these really big statues of Mary and Jesus, and it's gorgeous. And the last time I was there, we walked around for 3 or 4 hours. It is just peaceful and beautiful, so we had to go again. And then 4th of July, we got up and went and visited my grandma. And then, I don't know, the Midwest just does 4th of July like crazy. It was so much fun. We went to a parking lot. It was full of people, watched fireworks. It was about 30 minutes of free fireworks, and it was just a lot of fun hanging with my parents, my aunt and uncle. And the next day, we got up really early and drove to Missouri. And I thought that was funny to take a picture of how full the trunk was. And I just thought this was so weird. Heated toilets. Yeah. And we stopped at a quilt store for my sister. And I colored that in. I'm still not sure if I like that and I need to cover it or what. I had no idea about this town. I'm not a quilter. My sister is. But the whole entire town is the Missouri Star Quilt Company. And they have about 10 or 12 little stores, and they're all themed. And you could just go nuts. I wish they had a scrapbook town like that. And that town is also famous for where JCPenney's got its start and where he grew up. So while my sister was quilt shopping, I went down to the JCPenney's museum. And that was kind of fun. This is one of the original JCPenney stores, and the quilt company put a quilt shop in it. So it kind of maintained it. It's kind of sweet. Another thing I love to stop at is the Osceola Cheese Company. I have to stop there every time. And this was just a funny filter on Snapchat I used. And the next day, we had to go to another quilt store. But it was fun. It was the prettiest one, I think, besides my cousin's shop. It was called the Quilted Cow in Branson. And I went to Walmart. And it's so funny what different states have. And I really miss sunbeam bread. I cannot find it out here in California. So I took a picture with it. I also cut my bread bags and glued it. And this was a Oh Snap So Happy journal card. And my sister and my mom went to go see her cousin. I missed out on that. And taught her how to make monkey bread. So I used the Cricut for the bake and took pictures. We went to downtown Reed Springs, Missouri, which is this really cute store called Sisters by Design. And we took pictures, and oh, I could just get so many ideas from that store on decorating. We went to a little Mexican restaurant. Another thing I miss out here is cheese dip or queso dip. They do not sell it anywhere out here, and I miss it, and I about made myself sick because I ate that whole entire bowl. And it started pouring rain, really bad storm, so we had to wait out the storm, and I took a bunch of Snapchat pictures of my dad. So I scrapbooked him. And my nephew works at a pizza place. He's worked there all through high school, and now in college, so took pictures of that. And then I finally got to go to my favorite scrapbook store in Branson. And since we were there, my sister got to go to another quilt store. They were doing a really cool thing, and they had different license plates you could buy at all the different scrapbook stores, so she had to stop and get it. And that's her quilting. her and my mom quilted and organized fabric. And then my absolute favorite, Lambert's. I just absolutely love it. I wish we had one here. I used more of those flips. I used my Cricut to upload those images and cut them. They're home with the throw rolls, if you've never heard of it. I used another one of those pages and just glued it. That's how big the sodas are. And my mom was taking pictures of me with the menu, and she happened to catch me catching a roll. And I wanted to buy this shirt right here, but I really didn't want to spend the money, so I recreated it with the Cricut. And I love that picture of my mom. And then I had saved the menus, and I didn't want to throw them away, and I kind of wanted to write about it. And I've had this forever, so it kind of all worked together. And then another thing I cannot get in California is pickle chips. They're really hard to find. Every once in a while I could get some Pringles at the 99-cent store. So I just kind of printed out some things, and I found that online, and those are like those old scratch and stiff stickers from when I was a kid, so I really liked that. And then right before we left for the airport, my nephew came over, so it's just pictures of him and all of us being silly. And I just mixed up some paper. I bought this stuff at the Scrapbook Expo, and finally got to use it. And then that's the last page. And this is a tradition. Every time we're at the end of the trip, we close our eyes and we're like, all done, we need to rest. And so now it's just like a funny. And then the last page, I just used some extra pictures and some of our ticket info just to save it. And I don't really know how to fix this. I tried to make my own binder because this thing is such a beast. But thank you for watching, and I'm so excited to have it done. Bye.